Right, so we're talking Texans. There's a lot to get into. There's something like a narrative nationally that is really bothering me that I want to get into. So we'll get into that, and we'll also get into a lot of other stuff. And I appreciate y'all for coming through. Let's hit the music. It's not going to be as awkward as whatever's happened throughout the course of the day. Let's see.
It's the Locker Room on YouTube. You know what it is. Let's get it. Hey, Locker Room. Yeah, we in the locker room. Texas talk. Yeah, you know what we about to do. Localize every angle's what we really do. We the source. We the pulse of the city too. Landlocked. Got the game in the headlock.
All right, shout out to Fingy for doing this thing, man. That is the best on-air work that he's done today. From what I've heard. So I appreciate it for everyone for coming through. It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans digital content. I'm Landry Locker. You can hear me here, you can see me here, whatever. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Yeah, the mustache is new. So here's what happened. I'm in a hotel. Uh, Saving shaving like it at the top is like a little bit more painful. So I'm going stashed out, man. So we're going rose stashed out, and we'll see how that goes. Whether or not that's a good idea, bad idea, I really don't care, man. I'm all good. Appreciate everyone for coming through, talking about the Texans. Let's hear from D'Amico Ryans. Let's hear what D'Amico Ryans has to say about everything that's gone down at practice, and then I'll talk about the thing that is really bothering me when it comes to the biggest trade that the Texans have made um, in the last year or so, and I think it's kind of really misleading the way that people are talking about it. But first, let's hear from D'Amico Ryans. Let's hear what D'Amico has to say, and I'll sip some brews, y'all sip some brews, and we'll have a good time in the locker room.
with the heat and external
What's up,
elements.
class?
As we all know, it's pretty hot and humid here in
What's up,
Houston. It's
class?
what we have to deal with. Nothing we complain about. Just something we got to go to work, right? And so I tell our guys, no matter what it is, for me, it's about adversity. And when it hits you, like, how do you respond? And so a lot of guys, some guys responded well today, some did it. So it's a lot for us to learn from and build off of.
Was this intentional if you put it at this time just to sort of do an acclimation period?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, getting back to it at this time, this is the time we'll be working throughout the season. So I want our guys to understand what it'll feel like, especially, that first half of the season.
You mentioned guys need to hopefully learn and acclimate. What do guys need to learn and acclimate to?
Oh,
How to take care of your body prior to a day?
I see you, brother.
Our sports
Uncle
performance
in the
staff does a
building,
great
man.
job of prepping our guys so we're ready to push through. And guys, their bodies are good. Pushing through is more mental as opposed to their bodies. It's just it's a mental thing. And that's what playing in the NFL is about. Everybody's about the same physically, but how do you separate yourself mentally? That's where you separate the best from the rest.
When you have new guys that are learning systems either on offense or defense, you see on film that they've picked things up, or you check in with them from time to time. Hey, how are you picking things up? Is that up to the position coaches? Like, how do you kind
Upstairs.
of get progress on guys? Something you see, or do you have to
Upstairs.
No, it's
What's
a
up, football
twofold
guy?
answer there.
Football guy
It's
question right there.
Always, every day, we're evaluating guys. We're giving them certain things to work on. So it's one, right, seeing how the guys respond in meetings. And the second piece of that is, watching film after practice and seeing, has a guy picked up on what you've been trying to teach him, and tell him some guys are better than others at it. And for us as coaches, it's our job to continue to teach, continue to motivate guys as best we can, and help them, right, to find a way to get it done.
Joey, you guys are dealing with a few injuries on the defensive line. How are you having to manage that, particularly in practices and
How do you appreciate it, man?
When it comes to managing reps and managing guys through practice, everybody, as I spoke earlier, everybody is on, call it a different, everybody's on their different program, so to speak. So every guy, we do a great job of, like, watching our guys and how they're loaded with reps, knowing their speeds and what they're hitting.
Dude.
So all of the sports science and the data that we use that to monitor our guys closely and make sure we're putting them in the best.
How badass is this dude, man? I'm not trying to interrupt, man. Like, I'm not trying, but I did. This dude is a effing badass, dude. Like, look at this guy, man. He's got his sunglasses like flipped up. Doesn't even matter. He's got like the flip up. Like, this is an awkward outfit. Like, if you just wore that outfit out like to hang out, that's weird. Like, he's got like the long sleeve navy blue, and he's got the red, like all that. Dude, this is a man, man. Take it away, D'Amico. No disrespect.
Best possible position they're in so they can go out and compete and be their best when they are on the field.
How has player monitoring changed since you were playing?
Yeah, player monitoring has changed a lot. It's the way to go now. It's the norm. Supposed to when I was playing, there were no GPS units or tracking when it comes to that. So I think we do a much better job, much smarter job of managing guys, managing their bodies, trying to make sure they're as healthy as possible. But as we all know, we play it. This game is so fast and explosive, and guys are so strong where guys are going to get hurt, right? And that's inevitable. That happens in football. It's unfortunate, but there are injuries all the time, in our space. That's why, these guys are some of the best athletes in the world. And, it's a pleasure for all of us to get to work and watch these guys do what they do. They're special, they're talented, they're gifted guys, and there's not many guys who can do what our guys do. So it's always a credit to them, and it's such a huge honor to just be here and work with them and see what they go through on a day-to-day basis. What you guys see in practice, you guys don't see all the recovery, all the things that these guys go through, right? It's just report that a guy's injured. Like, these guys go through a lot, and it's just a ton of respect for what these guys go through.
Class. Yo, Steve, man, I'm in the building, brother. You've been on it, bro.
Yeah, that's a great question. The things
the hell
we
I've
look
been
at
up
to get
to.
better. It's always the small things. We want to make sure guys have something targeted that they can hit. It may be for a guy, it may be a tight end, just getting your second foot in the ground, making sure your target is right, getting your hat on the outside numbers. It's small things that are very targeted. Our guys can know and they can see when they actually hit it in practice. And so whether it's our eyes, it's our footwork, it's very small things, because that's what separate the great players. It's guys who can do those little things consistently over and over again. That's what a win in this league, not the wow plays. It's just you being consistent in the small details of your fundamentals and techniques.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
How would you assess the job that he's done over this offseason? And with his talent and versatility, what does he add to your defense?
Jaylen, first thing first is just he's so fun
D'Amico's
to work
wired
with.
up, by
He's
the
one
way.
of our smartest players.
D'Amico's wired the hell up right now.
Team, right? He's able to
He is
handle a
geeked
lot
up, man.
mentally and physically. Very gifted guy.
He's geeked up.
Does a phenomenal job, whether it's in coverage, whether it's blitzing, playing in the box, playing back deep. Not many guys have the skill set that Jaylen has, and he's a fun guy to work with. He's all about the team. He's a true leader for us on our team, and I'm always excited to work with Jaylen, because he's ready for more. Like, trying to see how much he can handle. He can handle a lot, and it helps our defense just with his versatility, his flexibility, and just his willingness, right, to do whatever it takes for the team to be successful. Like, that's how we want all of our guys.
Any specific areas where you've seen a lot of improvement from Henry to second season?
Henry's been very consistent this time
Henry
around. And Henry's been a guy that the defense can rely on. He's going to be in the proper position, be where he's supposed to be. And he does a great job with when it comes to communicating. That's a huge thing in our defense.
I gotta make
and Henry does a really awesome job of that.
Having Joe and Landry back in the offense, just the overall persona to not be able to kind of have a good identity before the start of the regular season, without getting reps for the first team.
And for all of our guys, whenever they get back, it's about guys just getting in and getting valuable work. Right? We're excited anytime we get guys back who've been away for a while. So it's the same with those two guys. Excited to see them back out working. I think it's more important for their teammates to see them, everybody working together and getting on the same page. But excited to see all of our guys back who we've been missing for a few weeks here. All right, thank you guys.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much, man. Like Henry Toto, I really was wondering about Henry Toto, and now I'm gonna write a story about him because I wasn't originally gonna do that, but uh, yeah, I'm all in on that now. Uh, a lot of y'all talking, man. Shout out to all y'all. Shout out to all the people coming through. Um, People saying I'm late. Nah, I'm just chilling, man. Like I might have drank some margaritas at the family gathering. I might be drinking some. I'm in Dallas because I'm hosting on the ticket, so I might be drinking some Dallas Blondes, which might happen. But I mean, I don't want to be judged. Do y'all want to be judged? I don't want to be judged. I'm just trying to listen to Mika runs. I'm just trying to see what's going on with our Houston Texans. And I heard D'Amico, and D'Amico was asked questions about Henry Toto and Shaq Mason. Like, what are we doing? Like, what do y'all want to know, honestly? Like, let me ask y'all. Let me ask the people, and shout out to the people. And y'all aren't wrong. Y'all are definitely not wrong, for sure. Like, you're definitely not wrong. If you were a media type and you were like sitting there and you're like, all right, so Jack Mason and Henry Toto are coming to the podium. What do y'all want to know? Tell me. What do y'all want to know? I mean, I'm not trying to be judged or anything like that. I'm sipping. I'm sipping with you. I'm chilling. And I actually got something on tap that probably shouldn't be Atomic Torpedo IPA. It's like a 9.2. It's like a little something. Um, so the gas stations here are kind of weird because when you walk in, you have to give them your ID and you have to tell them what numbers you want to go from each freezer. So like if you like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you have to figure that out. So that happens. Uh am I working on a new stash? I ain't working on a new stash, man. I'm just I mean it just kind of happens, man. It's kind of more painful. So here's the real honest truth. I'll be real honest with the mustache. Um, because AC asked it. So here's the situation with the stash. I don't want to pull it off, but I brought my razor. I brought my electric razor up 45 and it wasn't charged. So like normally I'm going all the way through and it's all the way charged. So it wasn't all the way charged. So if there's like a razor, my wife has a razor, and it's a perfectly capable razor, but it's painful to like go up. But down, it's not that hard to shave. So I just went with the shave down. Let's hear from Shaq Mason, man. I I would normally say I don't want to hear from him, but I think it's better than hearing about my shaving habits. So let's hear from Shaq Mason. Let's hear what Shaq Mason's got to say. I think he's one of the more overrated players in the NFL. But let's hear what Shaq's got to say.
How do you guys actually look at it to try to help you work on those little small
It's
things?
very key. I mean, I actually try to stop looking at it because, like, I do a play and I just come back to the huddle and I'm looking up the whole time trying to see what I did. So, I mean, it's very helpful, but it also can be detrimental because you know what I'm saying, paying attention to the last play instead of the next play. But I mean, you can definitely use it and it can hurt you.
Shaq, talk about the dynamics of that five that you have that you go to battle with, the coordination that you have to deal with, and it's fine on a good play or a bad play. Can you talk about what it takes to at least to have that same five on a day in, day out, and game in, game out basis?
It's big, man. Because like I said, it's all continuity and repetition. That's all this game is, especially O line, is repetition
and you get the reps, you get on the same page, and then you just take off. Like us having all of us there today was, I don't know if that was the first time all since we've been together, but I think it was. So I mean, it was definitely good to see and good to be out there. And I mean, we just keep stacking days like that.
What do you see from Kenyon and his growth as he goes into this season?
I saw a lot from just coming from the beginning of this offseason. He worked hard all offseason. He changed his diet, his study. He's just a whole new player, and I mean, I know that's going to help him take that next step as a player.
You see from Bonacassi, Edwards there at the defensive tackle spot. It feels like a lot of times they try to set the tone for the defense early in practice.
Absolutely. I mean, Foley, we go way back, from them New England, New York days. So I've been playing Foley for a long time, and I know exactly what he's capable of in a defense like this.
How do you do with the heat today?
It was. How did y'all do in the heat today? It was pretty hot. It was hot out here today. I mean, it was definitely one of the hottest days, but we need days like this.
Shaq, how good was it to be able to get away from Houston and practice in Cleveland last week and build that camaraderie with your teammates?
It was good. It was good, man. Just to, be away from Houston, away from the day-to-day that, because camp, I mean, it is what it is. Camp can get monotonous, and you got to try as a player to, take it one day at a time and not get bored with the process. So us going elsewhere definitely helped us in new scenery. We're together all day. There's no escape. So, I mean, it definitely can gel a team.
Being back on the high school field, did you kind of get that feeling of when you played when you was growing up?
Oh, absolutely. Just busting everywhere. That was definitely an experience, man.
So far in the early stages of love, what have you seen from Joe when he's been out there, and just the value of having him in the backfield to kind of take a little bit of pressure off of the passing attack?
Very valuable, man. Joe's a dynamic, running back, and he's definitely capable of, a big play every time. And, I'm glad we got him. And, saying not just Joe, it's the rest of the backs as well. They all do a good job of creating what they can with what we give them, and all our backs are explosive in their own ways, and they all make plays.
Just playing both positions right now, but Blake Fisher, just the improvements you see of him from the right tackle, left tackle, and also how do you make sure that he keeps his confidence up after that? Just as such a young player.
Exactly that. Just telling them, you're a rookie. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna make mistakes. Everybody's gonna make mistakes. You know what I'm saying? It's nobody that's gonna go through a whole season and not make a mistake. And I think that's the biggest thing as a young player, a young offensive lineman, is you got to know, you can't be scared to lose. And he's taking that head on, and he's definitely won more than he's lost. And we all see great things coming from him.
Couple more. All good?
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Shaq. You're the best. You're the best ever. Here's my thing with Shaq. I like Shaq. I think Shaq's good, and I think he's going to be okay. But it's the way that he gets treated. You would think that he's the best offensive lineman of all time. And it's just kind of weird. It's just kind of weird how he gets talked about. I mean, maybe y'all disagree, but I just don't. I don't feel like the Texans have one of the best right guards in the league, and I feel like that's the way that it's getting presented, and I don't feel like that's the case. I don't feel like Titus Howard is just. You feel awesome with him being at right tackle. I hope so. I think that would be great. But I just don't feel like that's the case. And that's just me watching. It might be some idiot, some dumbass that has no idea about tackles or anything like that. But the way I'm watching, I feel like the D line is dominating on the right side, and I think it has as much to do with the offensive line as it does the D line. So it's kind of weird. You hear some in the media say, well, oh my God, Mario Edwards has been awesome, and Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter have been great. Okay. And then they'll say Shaq Mason and Titus Howard have been good. How does that work? Like, if you're watching practice, like, how does that work? Like, how exactly does that work? I'm trying to figure it out. I'm not talking crap. I'm just talking about like what I see and what I do. But if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna say Mario Edwards has had an awesome camp, and Will Anderson and Daniil Hunter have had a great camp, and then you're gonna say that Titus Howard and Shaq Mason have had a good camp. How does that work? Doesn't make a lot of sense to me. For me, it makes me a little bit concerned about the right side of that O line. So as the Texans head into the game against the Indianapolis Colts, like my one of my biggest concerns is the right side of the O line. Because I'm not talking out of both sides of my ass. It's kind of what that is. You know, that's just kind of what that is. I'm not that dude. So if you want to find that dude, you've come to the wrong place. Little Jesus says Landry sounded like he got his wisdom teeth pulled. I don't even know what the hell that means. I mean, I kind of think I know what that means, but nah, that didn't happen. I'm chilling, brother. I'm in D Town. I got my DOS Blonde. I'm hosting on the ticket, #1 station in the nation, doing my thing. Uh so yeah, I I think that's a good roast. Um Landry, tell me what you honestly think about Christian Harris. The injury, it must be serious. I'm worried about it. I'm worried about it. Avery, I got my baby. My baby's coming up here. Ooh-wee. Are we worried about Christian Harris? Are we worried about Christian Harris? Um, I'm worried about Christian Harris because I think that bringing him back was surprising, and then him going off the field was even alarming. And I'm worried about Christian Harris for sure. I'm worried about him being ready to go, and we need him to be ready to go because D'Amico's talked about it. Do you think so? You're just grabbing every cord you can grab. What's up? What do you think about Christian Harris? Avery. Avery. What do you think about Christian Harris? Say something. Say something. Say something about Christian Harris. Say something. Is he terrible? You think he'll play week one? You think he'll play week one? He's got no opinions. You're a terrible host. You're trash. You're a terrible host. You're awful. You're horrible. Get out of here. Get out of here. Horrible host. Like that's one of the worst hosts I've ever seen in my life. Let's hear from Jaylen Pitre. I guess Jaylen Pitre was at the podium. Let's hear what he's got to say. He's got to be close to the line of scrimmage. Does that really make you feel better about the safety position? For me, not really. But let's hear what Pitre had to say about uh, his spot on this team.
For sure. We're definitely making progress, learning, practice, obviously our preseason games. There's a lot of tape to continue to just learn from if you in or out of the game. So I think as a unit, we're continuing to build on that and continue to, take steps forward.
The Iron Sharpens Iron mantra, of course, is here. How has the battle
Oh, it's been wonderful, man. He's like one of the best pros there is. He's a leader. he does nothing but make sure that you're on your A game every day. He talks trash, keep that competitive nature there, and he also helps after the rep in terms of coaching you up on the things that he's seeing and ways that you could play him the next rep. So I'm glad that he's on my team, and it's good to go against him every day because, as we all know, he's one of the best, and it's good to just sharpen your blade against the best of the best every day.
He's had to
Sir.
step up in the last couple of weeks with Christian missing time, but what have you seen?
What's up, Jaylen?
Henry since he's moved into the first
What's up,
team?
Beast?
Oh yeah, Harry's a dog. He's done nothing but show up every day with a relentless mindset, ready to go to work. And he's bringing it when he gets there. Like play recognition is on point, and when it's time to tackle, Henry is one of those guys that's gonna hit you and let you know about it. So I'm trying to get like Henry in that regard.
That was we talked to you a few weeks ago, playing a little bit more closer to the line of scrimmage, a little closer to what you did at Baylor. How's that going? Feel even more comfortable in that?
Oh, I love it. It's been fun to, be in the mix, get around, and play something different in D'Amico's scheme. And, like I said, I've been learning a lot of things in and out of the game, all the tape that we have and previous tape from years of guys doing it. So, it's been fun. And like I said, I'm just looking for ways to help the team and, stack these wins.
You think this maybe better suits your skill set?
Whatever is put on the table, it's time to eat. So, whether that's safety, nickel, whatever Coach D'Amico wants me to do, I'm going to do that to the best of my ability.
You're at the midway point of training camp right now. If there was one area that you want to master or just improve at moving into the second half, what would be that thing?
I know I always say this, and it can be a little repetitive, but my patience, like just slowing down and not being a rush in everything that I do and having a, calmness about me, but also still having that when I get there, I think that's the biggest thing. I can always just get better at that and just continue to improve in that area.
What have you seen from working Jaylen Bullock, and how have you helped as a veteran to help him bring him along as far as getting acclimated to the defense?
Yeah, I mean, Kalen is a pro already, and I know you asked how have I helped him, but I know y'all have seen him in the post. He's helped me already, just eyeing the quarterback, eyeing when that back foot is hitting, knowing when to break before the quarterback is doing that. He has a good feel in that regard, and I think he's helped our room out a lot in that. In ways that I've helped him, just I think outside, just developing that routine and just sticking it out on a day-to-day basis so that your days are consistent and showing up to practice the same way each day with a consistent and relentless mindset.
A couple more.
Say it again. Usually when I said previous tape, I would say number 24.
Pitre, but man,
played with
come
San
on.
Francisco. I don't want to butcher his name. I think his name was Kawan Williams. He's a dog. He played the position a great way. Des King did a great job at it last year. I've been watching him and just trying to, take bits and pieces out of their game and add it to my game. Those are two guys that I've definitely been watching a lot.
To the point earlier about you being around the line of scrimmage, how much do you enjoy sticking your nose in there and being real physical, in the mix like that?
Oh, I enjoy it a lot. Sometimes
stick
that
your
can,
nose. Stick your nose to the line of scrimmage.
Be a little bit of a problem because I think it goes hand in hand with that patience thing like I talk about. But I love getting in there, using my pads and being physical in there. I think that's what the game of football is about. So it's fun to, get in there and move around a little bit for sure.
Last week practicing at that high school, did it take you back to your high school days and just being out there?
Did it take you
for sure.
back to your high school
I'm gonna be
days?
honest, it was a little hard for all of us,
Sure,
but I think
man.
that was the best thing that could have happened for our team. The weather and the conditions were a little bit harder than we used to. The Texans take a great care of us here in Houston with all the facilities and resources that we have. But we was out there. It was a lot of team camaraderie and definitely a lot of bonding with my teammates. And those days of practice, we got better. So, it was definitely us going upward. And I think it was definitely something that we needed as a team. Yep. Appreciate y'all. Have a good day.
All right. So there you go. So that's Jaylen Pitre doing his thing at the podium. How about that Jaylen Pitre podium stuff? So I guess Henry Toto was there too. Do we really need to see from What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What kind of trash you talking? Hmm? Daughter's talking all kinds of trash. Tell me. I feel like she's got good content on this. So she's gonna tell me, okay, the mic's not good. You're talking too much. Okay, what are we doing? Nah, I'll show you. Look, it's you. You're being crazy. You're being crazy. Huh? Oh, you want more of you? Okay. We need more of you. That's what she needs. Here, what do you think? But yeah, the Patriot stuff is interesting because I think it's wild because you talk about Petrie and the better he looks at camp, the more that the safety position becomes a big question. It becomes a big question because this guy is getting thrown to the line of scrimmage. He's getting thrown there, and all of a sudden, like you look back and it's Eric Murray. It's kind of scary, unless it isn't for you. So that's kind of scary for me when it comes to the Jaylen Pitre situation. It's scary, very, very, very scary. The reason that we're here, we'll be here in a second. Uh, the most obnoxious thing about the Will Anderson trade in a sec, but first I'll get to a couple of questions that people have asked. Number one, 6'10" show just ain't the same without you, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, of course it wouldn't be. Like it's not the same. Like all the creative ideas are obviously done. Uh Figgy's not a host. Lopez is just absolute garbage and just the worst. I mean, he's just dead weight. So yeah, that would not it wouldn't be the same at all. He just shows up. He actually thinks y'all are dumb. He said that multiple times. Our listeners are dumb. He said that like 100 times. I was actually kind of offended by it, but Lopez thinks y'all are dumb. So yeah. Um, Elber said better than Lopez. I don't even know what that means. Jacob Hyatt, when Eddie Guerrero became the new host of the Locker, no idea what that means. But yeah, appreciate everyone for coming through with that. So this is the final thing that I wanted to touch on. Couple things with the Texans. Number one, Kamari Lassiter, he has returned for the Texans. He has returned. The cornerback out of Georgia, CB2 easily. He's back, so they're not too concerned about him. He's there and he's good to go. Uh, Other news with the Texans, Avery. She's sad. What are you sad about? What are you sad about? Hmm? Do you think John Lopez is the worst host ever? I shouldn't have said that. Let's dump that. Let's dump that. Yeah, I mean that's insulting because that's insulting to the worst host ever. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right, Dad. I love you. I love you. Will Anderson, Noah Brown, and Akuda out. Maybe some misspelling there with it. Yeah, it kind of happens. But I want to touch on the hilarity of the Will Anderson trade and the connection to Tank Dell and CJ Stroud. Yeah, I've been kind of doing my thing here. So the way that the Texans trades have been talked about the last couple of years has been kind of amusing to me because the Stefon Diggs trade has been talked about where the Texans gave up a second round pick to Buffalo, and all of a sudden you get like comparisons of second round picks and blah blah blah. The Texans traded for Stefon Diggs and they traded back 19 spots. That was the cost for Stefon Diggs. It was 19 spots. They traded back 19 spots. If it were in NBA terms, it would have been the Texans and the Bills and the Vikings make a trade. The Vikings give up their pick. The Texans give up their pick. The Bills give up their pick, and the Texans trade back 19, and that's it. So it's trading back 19 spots. The Will Anderson trade kind of bothers me because the way in which it's talked about is it's talked about as if the Texans didn't have extra draft equity from the Deshaun Watson trade. If you walk into a casino, and you know a lot of my listeners and a lot of my viewers are just kind of rolling their eyes because they're like, we already know this. And y'all should. But if you walk into a casino and you have extra chips and you have extra stuff to roll out, then you're going to be more aggressive. And that's what happened with the Will Anderson trade. And the other part of it is this. If the Texans would have never traded their 12th pick, 12th overall, and second round pick, they probably would have taken a receiver and perhaps an offensive lineman. Hank Dell's been good. They probably would have taken at 12 Jackson Smith and Jigba because CJ Stroud likes Jackson Smith and Jigba, says that he's the best wide receiver that he's ever thrown to. They probably would have taken Jackson Smith and Jigba. But they took Tank in the third. And they didn't have the second. In the second, they might have taken a good center. And they took Juice Scruggs. So that gets rid of all that narrative and all that talk. I don't know what y'all think. I just kind of think it's real, man. Like I wanted Jackson Smith and Jigba at 12 like badly because I thought that he was a good, really, really good receiver. You took CJ obviously because y'all were having an argument about CJ and Will, so you took CJ and then you end up trading up for Will. But then you took Tank Dell. Tank Dell and JSN are actually being discussed as who's better. It's a discussion. I'm here in Houston, and it might be a sin. Would I trade Tank Dell for Jackson Smith and Jigba right now? Yeah, I would. I 100% would. That might be a sin in Houston. I would do it, but I don't even have to worry about that because they traded that and they got Tank Dell. So that's what it is. Appreciate everyone for coming through. Subscribe, like, right along. It is the Locker Room, number one source for Texans digital content. I'm on the road. I'm doing my thing. Yes, sir. Uh, it the damn music, Figgy, pretty. Please.